You know that feeling, right? That quiet, simmering frustration when you realize you've become someone's reliable, ever-present, and utterly predictable option. The one who always says yes, who always stays late, who always picks up the phone, and in return gets, well, not much. Your kindness has become a convenience for others, and your own needs have been pushed to the back of the shelf, gathering dust. I get it. I've been that person, the perpetual giver, the nice one, the one whose calendar was filled with other people's priorities. It's exhausting. It chips away at your soul until you barely recognize the person in the mirror. My wake-up call came during a particularly brutal week where I'd cancelled my own plans 3 times to help others, only to have a friend casually forget a promise they'd made to me. Sitting there, feeling that familiar sting of disappointment, I realized I had built a life where my value was determined by my availability. I was tired of feeling like a background character in my own story. So, I went on a mission. I devoured books on boundaries, binge-listened to psychology podcasts during my commute, and absorbed everything I could from experts. It wasn't an overnight fix, but slowly, I pieced together a new way of being. This isn't about becoming cold or selfish. It's about building a life where your generosity comes from a place of abundance, not obligation. It's about turning the ship around, and I want to share with you the map that helped me navigate my way out. The first and most revolutionary step is to give yourself unconditional permission to be a work in progress. We're so terrified of getting it wrong, of not being the perfect friend, employee, or partner when we start setting boundaries, that we end up doing nothing at all. We think, if I can't do this flawlessly, I shouldn't do it at all. That, my friend, is the perfectionism trap, and it's public enemy number 1. The goal isn't to execute a flawless 180-degree turnaround. The goal is to wobble, to stumble, to maybe say something a little awkward the first time and to be okay with that. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. You didn't start with a perfect, graceful glide. You started with wobbly knees, scraped elbows, and a determined heart. This is the same. Your first no might come out as a shaky, over-explained mess. Celebrate it anyway. You showed up for yourself. That's a victory. This leads us to the second method, mastering the art of the graceful no. You don't need a dramatic, confrontational showdown. In fact, those often backfire. The magic lies in simplicity and conviction. You don't owe everyone a detailed, bullet-pointed report on why you can't do something. A simple, "I'm sorry, I can't commit to that right now," or "Thank you for thinking of me, but that doesn't work for my schedule," is more than enough. The first few times you say it, your heart might feel like it's going to beat out of your chest. That's normal. You're exercising a muscle that's been dormant for years. The key is to not fill the silence that follows with frantic justifications. Let the no hang in the air. The other person will survive, and more importantly, you will thrive. Now, what are you making space for with all these graceful no's? This is the third method, getting ruthlessly curious about what you actually want. For so long, your desires have been muffled by the noise of other people's expectations. It's time to tune back in. This isn't about making massive life changes overnight. Start small. What do you want to do for just 1 hour this weekend? Do you want to read a book, go for a walk alone, or finally start that hobby you've been putting off? Your wants are valid, not because they are productive or impressive, but simply because they are yours. When you start honoring these small wants, you send a powerful message to your own brain. My time and my energy matter. This builds the internal foundation that makes the external boundaries feel natural and necessary. The fourth method is about shifting your energy from being universally available to being intentionally present. This was a game changer for me. When you're constantly drained from overcommitting, you end up being a half-hearted version of yourself for everyone. What if instead you consciously decided to be fully present in the interactions you do choose? Tell your friend, "I only have an hour, but for this hour, I'm all yours." Then, put your phone away and really listen. This does 2 things. It massively improves the quality of your connections, and it subconsciously trains the people in your life that your time is valuable. You're not a 24/7 convenience store. You're a special, by-appointment-only experience. People start to value your presence because you clearly value it yourself. Finally, And this is the anchor that holds it all together. You must become your own best advocate. This means talking to yourself with more kindness than you ever thought possible. The moment you set a boundary, that little voice of doubt might pipe up, "You're being so selfish, they're going to be mad at you." Instead of fighting it, acknowledge it with compassion. You can literally say to yourself, "I hear you, and I know you're trying to protect me from conflict. But choosing myself is not selfish, it's essential." This internal validation is your superpower. You cannot rely on others to suddenly applaud your new boundaries. In fact, some might push back. Your job is to reassure that inner self that you are safe, you are on the right path, and you are finally choosing you. This journey isn't about building walls, it's about learning where your garden ends and where someone else's begins. It's about tending to your own plot so beautifully that you have healthy, vibrant flowers to share, rather than having your soil trampled until nothing can grow. And just to be completely transparent, this isn't just my own opinion cooked up in a vacuum. This synthesis is deeply inspired by the work of experts who have dedicated their lives to understanding human behavior and well-being. The concepts of boundaries and self-advocacy are powerfully explored in books like Set Boundaries, Find Peace by Nedra Glover Tawwab. The idea of embracing imperfection and combating perfectionism is a core theme in the research of thought leaders like Brené Brown, and the psychological frameworks for assertiveness and self-compassion are echoed in the works of experts from Susan David to Kristin Neff. I've simply been a fellow traveler, testing their maps, and can now tell you from the other side that the path they chart is real, it's sustainable, and it leads you back home to yourself. You don't have to be tired anymore. You just have to begin.